and welcome back. I'm here at Baking Central, Crumbs Doilies HQ, and I gave you a lot of recipes over Christmas, so I expect you have been baking your little socks off, but you probably want something simple and easy because I'm sure you still want to bake things, right? But this is going to be a really good recipe for you because it is a simple recipe for cookies, but with a bit of an X factor, which is going to be in the form of burnt butter. And these are going to be burnt butter, pecan, and chocolate cookies. So the burnt butter in this recipe adds a real sort of depth and nuttiness to the overall cookie, and it's really simple. I've already got my burnt butter here, but all I did was put 120 grams of unsalted butter into a little saucepan, and over a low-medium heat I stirred that until it bubbled away and browned slightly, and I've now left that to cool. It's still a little bit warm, but it's not hot anymore, and that is just right. So now I'm going to add my sugars, and I've got 110 grams of dark brown sugar, as well as 35 grams of caster sugar, and I'm just going to mix that together with a whisk. Now I'm not trying to make this super pale and fluffy or anything, and because the brown sugar is quite coarse, it will take a long time to dissolve. So I'm just going to let it combine. So I've been whisking for about a minute, and that is just right. So now I'm going to add one large free-range egg, and also just a half teaspoon of good quality vanilla extract, and whisk that in as well. And when that's all combined, you can add your dry ingredients, and I've got 135 grams of plain flour, which I'm just going to sift directly on top, as well as adding 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, just a level teaspoon. And shuffle that through. And I'm going to use a wooden spoon for this because it might get stuck in my whisk. So I'm just going to mix that all together. Now it's time to jazz these cookies up. I'm going to be adding pecans and chocolate chips. You can use any nut, your favourite nut. This is also really nice with walnuts if you've got those lying around. And I've got about 40 grams of chopped pecans. I'm going to put half of that in. And about 90 grams of milk chocolate, which I've chopped up as well. I'm going to put half of that in. We're keeping the other half back to do something really exciting before we bake them. So just make sure that's all really well combined. And you'll see that you've got a very wet dough right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that just to sit, and that's going to help the flour absorb all the liquid, and it's going to firm up a little bit, which is going to make the dough much nicer to roll. So hang back for about 30 minutes or an hour. Now that my dough's been sitting and resting for about half an hour, it is now much more kind of squishable and malleable, so I'm going to start by making my cookie balls. So I have found that the perfect weight is about 40 grams. It's around about like a ping pong size ball. So I've got my scales here. That's a bit too heavy. Spot on. So I'm just going to roll this into a ball to start with. But then don't forget I've still got my chocolate chips and my nuts, and I'm going to roll that ball all around to cover it completely in chocolate chips and pecans. So we've got extra nutty, extra chocolate yumminess. I'm going to keep going until I've filled my tray. Now I've spaced them out quite far away from each other because they spread quite a bit. So you can actually get 12 cookies out of this mixture, but I've saved a couple. I've put the dough back in the fridge so I can have 2 little sneaky ones at a later stage. But for now, I'm going to bake these at 170 degrees C for between 10 and 13 minutes. If you want them chewier, you probably take them out around 10. If you want them a bit more crispy, take them out at around 13. I like them chewy though. My cookies have come out of the oven, they've cooled down, and I am gagging to try one because I took them out just at 10 minutes and I think they're going to be mega, mega chewy. Oh, that looks just how I like it. Hang on. It tastes just how I like it too. And like I said earlier, if you like a crispier cookie, then just leave them in the oven for a little bit longer. But if, like me, you like a soft, ooey, chewy cookie, 10 minutes is your key timing, so take them out whenever you need to. So that is my really simple recipe for a really special cookie. I hope you guys give it a go. And don't forget that last week I asked you to ask me anything. I've done this a couple of times before and it's really fun. I'm going to be answering your questions in next week's upload, so make sure you head over to last week's video to ask your questions in the comments box. And if you haven't seen my merch already, it's really cool and you can see it all at www.cupcakejemma.com. That's my name and that's the name of my website. Go and check it out, there's loads of cool stuff on there and I will see you next week for the answers. Bye!